There's been a few things recently that have had my family talking about all the odd stuff we can't explain. Most have happened in this house. The ones in our last house I'll save for another video, but I'm starting to think it's my family that's haunted rather than any particular building. Like a ghost has followed us from one house to the next. Or maybe we've just got magic powers and we're going to start solving ghostly mysteries and fighting crime. So it's 5 AM in the middle of winter and it's pitch black outside. In my parents' room, my mum is asleep, but my dad is awake. He only ever gets around 4 hours and usually lays awake for the rest of the night, so when a loud knocking starts up against the plasterboard wall on his side of the bedroom, it's safe to say he's not dreaming. The knocking was loud enough to wake my mum, which is saying something.
What's that noise?
What noise is that?
That knocking noise.
So you can hear that too, can you?
Of course I can, it's just woken me up.
Well, I'm glad you heard it, because I thought I was going mad.
What is it?
Something is knocking on the plasterboard wall on my side of the bedroom.
Well, how can that be? There's nothing there.
I know.
What was it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It stopped.
I know it stopped. I'm not deaf. I'm standing here waiting for it to start again.
He stays there a minute, but nothing happens, so he goes back to bed. Now, before anyone says it wasn't a ghost or tries to rustle up some explanation like it could have been me playing a prank or that it was a bird or even the neighbours, honestly, it wasn't. I really wish it was because I have to live here with all this creepy stuff going on, and while it's funny afterwards, it's not funny while it's happening. So, as for the reasons why it wasn't any of the things I just mentioned, firstly, it was 5 in the morning. I haven't got the time or the energy to sit in their room and knock on a wall, and even then they would have seen me. I'm not a marauder, I haven't got an invisibility cloak. Secondly, it wasn't a bird. A bird would have had to have been inside the room, big enough to make such a loud knock on the plasterboard wall, and invisible. I think my parents would have noticed some random bird bashing his head against the wall otherwise. And if you think the noise was perhaps coming from outside the house, that's not possible either. The bird would have had to hover in the air while hitting the wall, which is actually made of brick, and that would have made a completely different sound if they'd heard it at all. And thirdly, it wasn't our neighbours either. You see, that side of the house isn't connected to our neighbours, or any wall at all, because that would be on my side. And if I hear any knocking, I do my best to ignore it. So, the only explanation that we could come up with is that it's our ghost, reminding us that he's there. At that point, he'd paced the hall outside my room, moved some things across the mantelpiece, and knocked on the wall in my parents' room. The next time something happened, it was the evening. Everyone was in the lounge, including the pets, so it wasn't anyone messing about upstairs, and we hear a knock on the ceiling. We wait for it to happen again, but unlike the last time, nothing. Another time, it was the middle of the afternoon, still winter, still cold, and probably only a month or so after we'd heard the knocking on the ceiling, I hear a door slam upstairs. It slams again, and again, louder and louder until suddenly, it stops. I figure that someone's just left a window open, even though it's bloody freezing outside. With everyone downstairs or out for the day, I go upstairs to check, only to find every single window is shut. I check downstairs because, of course, there might have been a draft, but no, all doors and windows are closed there too. We mark it down as another one for the ghost, and so far the list just keeps getting longer. Our ghost doesn't have a routine or a specific time when he's more active. Sometimes he leaves it long enough that we've almost forgotten we have a ghost, but whenever he does pace the hall outside my room, move things across the mantelpiece, or knock to let us know he's there, it's always when we least expect it. And in all the years it's been going on, there's only really been one person who has actually seen him. I just want to say thank you so much for watching Ghost Stories Part 2. There is going to be a Part 3. It's possibly the freakiest thing that has ever happened to me. So if you want to see that and more story times and animation tutorials I've got planned, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to turn on notifications, and I'll be back with another video real soon. Bye!